All right, guys, here's a look at lesson 3 that we started on Thursday, February 18th, and gets continued tomorrow, Friday, February 19th, async, because I will not be here, so it will be in Canvas. So to start lesson 3, we looked at our opening and learning targets. That's not it. Here we go. In the previous lesson, you read Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 of Hidden Figures. You also participated in a language activity in which you track the meanings of multiple meaning words as they are used in Chapters 2 and 3. In this lesson, you will read the next 2 chapters in the anchor text and a new article called Moon Dust and Black Disgust, using annotations to determine the central idea and trace the author's argument. Learning targets for lesson 3. I can determine the central idea of moon dust and black disgust. I can analyze and evaluate the author's arguments in moon dust and black disgust. The entrance ticket asks for us to reread an excerpt from pages 14 to pages 16 called The Human Computers, and then after reading it to determine which claim best represents that excerpt. And the options we had: the work environment at Langley for the new employees was promising but still impacted by the segregation laws. The new women computers hired at Langley were not welcomed by the male engineers with whom they worked. Langley Laboratory was a place where African American employees were shielded from the segregation laws of the South. Or the female mathematicians newly hired at Langley were the first African Americans to be employed at the facility. So we could, after reading that excerpt, pretty quickly rule out a couple of those options. One, that the new women were not welcomed by male engineers. When you read the excerpt, it says nothing about male engineers and the new female workers having any issues, so it is not number 2. Number 3 says that the Langley lab was a place where employees were shielded from segregation laws. When we find out that the women had to work in the west area versus the east area where the white employees were, and that they had separate bathrooms, we know that that one is not true. So we've eliminated 2 and 3. Female mathematicians were the first African Americans to be employed at the facility. Right here, it says there had always been African American employees at Langley, but they had worked as janitors, cafeteria workers, mechanics assistants, and groundskeepers. So we have eliminated the third one, which means number 1, the work environment at Langley for the new employees was promising but still impacted by the segregation laws. That one is the correct claim made in the excerpt. Pieces of evidence that support that: in the last paragraph, it says, for the Black women, the experience of working in a laboratory offered a chance to do interesting work that would help support the war effort. So we get the sense there that it is promising, still impacted by segregation laws. As mentioned before, the separate bathrooms and separate work areas are 2 examples of that. Then the bulk of today's lesson was reading chapters 4 and 5 from Hidden Figures. For Thursday, you have a homework assignment to do gist and vocab. Remember, 2 chapters means 2 gists. So gist for chapters 4 and 5, and then vocab words. You are going to use each of the vocab words in a sentence. Choose one of these vocab words to use correctly in a sentence: ration, endure, comply, indignities, and perpetrate. Because I will not be here tomorrow, your assignment is going to be in Canvas. There is an attendance form. You have the article Moon Dust and Black Disgust to read, and then there is a 6-question exit ticket quiz to answer on that article. So please check Canvas for Friday, February 19th.